right. So as I have said before, Chicago is going to become a huge political war zone. All right. There's no doubt about it. Now, while there is right now rumblings and rumors that Operation Blitz could potentially be winding down its operations, remember, this is the second time they're in the city. They showed up here in Chicago in February of 2025. Don't forget, Tom Homan and Dr. Phil, how do you know me? They were here. And for the last 2 months, maybe 3 months, you had ICE agents conducting operations all over the city of Chicago, north side through the south side. Absolute disaster, I think, in my point of view. I think this is an absolute failure of leadership from President Trump, Governor J.B. Pritzker, Mayor Brandon Johnson, and this is going to clearly leave an aftermath and a huge scar on Chicago, because if ICE truly does leave, that so quote-unquote unified front here that's happening here in Chicago amongst Democrat leaders, it will fracture, because remember, Chicago is $1.1 billion in a hole. There's a lot of unchecked political corruption here in the city. I don't care what the numbers say about crime going down. I mean, sometimes numbers can be massaged. And there's still a lot of rivalries out. And the only thing that benefited the Chicago and Illinois Democrats is that they had a quote-unquote common enemy to be angry with, ICE. Now, if this is true that ICE is winding down its operations, okay, fine. But they'll be back. And let's remember, all the actions of everybody here that were playing their roles throughout 2025, it's going to resonate not next year, but it's going to play a huge role in 2027 for the Chicago city elections. So without further ado, just a quick reminder, this was Mayor Brandon Johnson going before the UN, asking for UN intervention and oversight in Chicago.
And as I close, I invite the UN's independent experts to visit Chicago to witness both our challenges and our progress firsthand. And I urge the Human Rights Council to consider additional measures of accountability, including a special session to examine the worsening human rights crisis in the United States. The people of Chicago and of this nation deserve a government that honors their dignity, not one that diminishes it. And as I close.
So yes, that was him. Now, of course, Mayor Brandon Johnson asked for the United Nations to intervene and step in and oversee this. Did he not think that the administration or people were not going to call him out for this BS? Because the United Nations, as an institution, they get money from the USA, okay? Has the United Nations ever stopped anything? And I'm going to say this again on a personal note. When I did my first tour in Iraq, I saw the United Nations. There was never a day those guys were asleep or high or just, I don't know, just whatever. That's not the peak fighting force. Sorry to disappoint you, Dale Gribble from King of the Hill. It's not a peak fighting force at all. And let me just tell you how the UN's going to act once there's if they do show up. It's like, okay, there. That's how the UN's going to act, okay? And I'm not. That's not being over dramatic. That's exactly what they'll do. So everybody, let's just kind of laugh the fallout. I don't even know how Mayor Brandon Johnson's even going to think about even running again in 2027 with his approval rating so abysmal.
Mayor Brandon Johnson is asking the United Nations to intervene to stop your operations. Here is what he said before the UN Human Rights Council. Listen to this.
The federal government's immigration enforcement has been marked by violence and an assault on the dignity of all Chicagoans. I call on this council to hold the federal government of the United States to the same standards of accountability you apply elsewhere in the world. No country should be above international law. I urge the Human Rights Council to consider additional measures of accountability, including a special session to examine the worsening human rights crisis in the United States.
Tom, this is just pure lunacy, but what is your reaction to all of that?
He's just proving he's not that smart, right? I mean,
Hey, look, if you have an approval rating lower than Lightfoot, okay, if you go from 6.6% to 5%, yeah, you're not a big brain genius. Because sooner or later, and this is something that people do have to factor in, ICE might have to be winding down its operations. But then again, they could always come back because they've been to Chicago not once but twice in February and throughout the last days of the summer and fall. So about 2 to 3 months, ICE were here in Chicago. It showed an absolute abysmal fail from the mayor, from the governor, because ICE was still conducting its operations. Those glorious protests, parades did nothing to prevent ICE, especially the infamous No Kings March. Did it boost people up? No. It just led to a lot of people getting arrested. It led to a lack of action. And the thing is, ICE is still conducting its operations even as we speak. Was anything done politically, socially? Was there any kind of real sit down between Trump's office, Pritzker's office, and Mayor Brandon Johnson's office? No. None of that at all. So that is pretty funny, though.
Your reaction to all of that?
He just proved he's not that smart, right? I mean, asking the United Nations to talk, interfere with ICE enforcing U.S. law, it's like asking an arsonist how to stop a fire. Because the UN, remember, the IOM, the part of the UN, helped fund the mass migration during the Biden administration 4 years, spending millions upon millions of dollars helping that migration, international migration come to the United States. So, the United Nations is not going to tell President Trump what to do. President Trump was put in office on the promise of making this country safe again, on the promise of having the historic deportation operation. That's exactly what America is getting. Every criminal alien ICE and Border Patrol takes off the street makes this country safer. We have the most secure border in the history of the nation right now because of leadership of President Trump, the men and women of the Border Patrol, and because ICE. What ICE is doing in the interior every day, they've sent a message across the globe. Don't spend your life savings, cross the border illegally, think you're going to get away in the United States. Because of what ICE is doing, people aren't spending their life savings, putting themselves in harm's way. Thousands of people aren't dying making that journey. Thousands of Americans.
Marco Rodriguez, Kit, question. What are you going to do if Johnson wins re-election? I will be so surprised by that. I would be so surprised. The only way he wins is if he curries favor with every single Democrat leader. And I'm going to get to why there's going to be a fallout and division because, well, we're almost at the end of this video, so it's only fair. It's only fair. Let me explain. If he were to win, he would have to have every single major Democrat leader endorse and support him. But there's cracks starting to show in this quasi-alliance because if Operation Midway Blitz is truly coming to an end, if it is, and I'm going to pull up this video here, there's going to be a lot of knives out because there's still the city budget to contend with and so much more. So let me go ahead and pull up this video here. Hang on. I'm about to show you some drama, some juicy stuff, and some funny video at the end, as I should all the time, every time, because we're going to get to it. I promise. And it's a Hard Lens Media guarantee. It's a Hard Lens Media guarantee. So let's go. But if it does happen, I will be so surprised. I think I'll be speechless. I'll be like, okay, I called that wrong.
Operation Midway Blitz is set to wind down dramatically.
Homeland Security officials would not confirm these reports that controversial leader Commander Gregory Bovino is set to leave. Political reporter Paris Schutz has the latest on this story. Paris?
Yeah, Sylvia and Terrence, these federal DHS officials say the aggressive deportation efforts will still go on, but they might be much less flamboyant amid multiple reports that the Trump administration plans to scale back this operation and relocate that controversial Customs and Border Protection Commander Gregory Bovino somewhere else. Now, Governor Pritzker today held a Veterans Day memorial event in Little Village, ground zero for recent immigration raids. And here's what he had to say.
Whether it was the loss in the elections a week ago that's led to Donald Trump deciding to pull CBP out, or the fact that Greg Bovino is a snowflake on a day when you can see some snowflakes. Whatever it is, the people of Chicago have deserved better than having CBP and Greg Bovino in this city. But I would not say that we're now going to be free of these terrorized neighborhoods, because ICE and CBP probably will still be here, though they will have fewer people, and we'll have to continue to protect our neighbors and our friends and our families.
And some of those more spectacle situations, those more flamboyant actions, have been led by Commander Bavino, who reportedly will leave. Although, when asked about it on Fox News, DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin would not confirm or deny. She simply said that Operation Midway Blitz will go on. Now, meanwhile, a tense exchange after Governor...
Now, here's the thing. We're going to get to the tense exchange. So, Governor J.B. Pritzker, as well as a few other Democrat politicians, did gather in Little Village for a show of strengths to basically stand up against ICE and everything else in between. Now, if this is truly happening, the cannons that were outwards will now be pulled inwards, because here comes that Coca-Cola classic theme of Chicago politics. Who will control and sit upon the throne? Who will make up the next city council? Because, again, voters saw firsthand, and a lot of potential new voters saw firsthand, not the strengths of our Chicago politicians, because ICE was still doing its operations. We're still seeing all these legality questions coming up here and there. And while ICE will still be here, perhaps not in the large numbers that we saw, Chicago as a whole, now we have to deal with the aftermath and fallout. Now, Governor J.B. Pritzker, along with Senator Tammy Duckworth and Congressman Chuy Garcia, were in the 22nd Ward. Now, in this 22nd Ward, this is where Little Village is at. This is the same location in which, you had voters, or use it at, we have people, had a tense altercation with ICE. And in turn, there was an individual that apparently shot rounds at ICE officials. Thank God no one was hurt or wounded, but nonetheless, this is leading to a clear and serious issue of the Chicago unity, and because there won't be one. This was an altercation between Byron Cecil Lopez of 25th Ward to Governor J.B. Pritzker in regards to Pritzker being against Mayor Brandon Johnson's corporate head tax. Now, for those of you who don't know, in 2018, I had the opportunity of doing a short interview with Governor J.B. Pritzker. He faced off against Governor Bruce Rauner. At the time, during the 2018 midterm election cycle, it was the most expensive governor's race, at least currently in U.S. history. I mean, not anymore, because there's others that are going to, push it aside. But at the time it was. And Governor J.B. Pritzker, let's face it, is from the Pritzker family, very rich. And you had this very intense altercation between Alderman Byron Cecil Lopez confronting Governor J.B. Pritzker. And as we all know, Mayor Brandon Johnson is trying to do everything he can to fix Chicago's $1.1 billion hole that we are in. We are so in deep that nothing's going to get us out of it. And of course, Alderman Mike Rodriguez, who is the alderman of the 22nd Ward, had a little bit of a shouting match with Byron Cecil Lopez. So in regards to this, Brandon Johnson securing his mayoralship, he's going to have a hard time navigating those waters. Case in point, this video here.
I'm calling you right now about taxing the rich. How are we going to afford? Look, we got people in basements. We got people in attics. We got kids being terrorized. Yes, and you oppose the corporate
you want to talk about that?
I want to talk about what we need to do to help our community.
What we need is a progressive income tax, a graduate income tax in the state.
And what is going to happen? Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Or the surcharge.
You know that I've worked very hard to get that passed when I first got elected.
Yes, I mean, listen, and you got one more second. Wait, no. One more second. No. Hey, the state police continue to. The state police is arresting protesters. When are we going to be?
Alta, come out the state police. You're building capacity for federal agents to take us in. Stop arresting protesters.
Bad cookies. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. No, I am not. Don't do that. Listen, I saw that Netflix series, Death by Lightning. Okay? No. I refuse. Okay? I refuse. I am not running for mayor. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't put that evil on me.
Yes, I need listen. And you got one more second. Wait, no. One more second. No. Hey, the state police continue to.
By the way, the alderman said, "Get out of my ward with this shite."
The state police is arresting protesters. When are we gonna be?
Come out to state police. You're building capacity for federal agents to take a measure. Stop arresting protesters. You can leave them here in our neighborhood. I'm sorry, I'm going to come over and take it.
Now, of course, Mayor Brandon Johnson is going to have to contend with aldermen and Tired of Lies. Yes, it's a great slogan. Vote for Kit. He don't take shite. Okay. No. That's a big no. Okay? When you shake the magic 8-ball, guess what? I'll take it from you. I'll crack it and say, guess what? The answer's no. Okay? Don't put me to the test. I'll fly to wherever all you people live. I am not running for mayor. But Mayor Brandon Johnson also has to contend with a very large and angry voting bloc, especially from the black community here in Chicago. Now, I've played some videos in which, and Jimmy Dore has also played videos in which you had Chicago activists, organizers, community leaders yelling at Mayor Brandon Johnson. And stuff like this is going to cause him to get cooked because he is not ready for what's coming towards him. And I think 2027, there's going to be a whole bunch of cooking that he's going to have to go through. When I say it's going to get rough for him to get reelected, videos like this come to mind. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson got cooked by Miss Jackson. Why did she expose him like that? Damn, I almost felt bad for him. Spoke too soon. I lied. I enjoyed the barbecue. If I sat through this, so do all of you, because this is what you call a cooked barbecue.
Here, you got a real South Shore resident of 63 years up here. Not no paid protester, not somebody that's paid with a 501c3. You got a real, live South Shore resident at this mic. Now what you're gonna do for the citizens of South Shore and the black people of Chicago, you're gonna stop with all this fake black facade you're doing. You're gonna stop that. Because first of all, you're gonna deal with the fact that word on the street is you're a Haitian. And if that be the case, that explains a lot.
Let me just say this. There's been a lot of people, especially in black communities, black neighborhoods, all across in Chicago that have been calling out and confronting Mayor Brandon Johnson. This is only the tip of the iceberg, folks.
But if you're not, we're gonna dethrone this self-acclamation you gave yourself at that Black Caucus thing, where you said that you're the freest black man in America right now. I dare you insult black men like that. You are far cry from that. You're sitting here talking against Trump, trying to make him look this way or that way, when we right here this morning saw you misuse the police department to violate our rights as citizens. That's right. You told them that they cannot participate in getting these illegal immigrants while you sat up here and misrepresented that raid on South Shore Drive like black people was getting beat up and all that over there. You know that's a lie. I live over there, and black people over there, we kicking in and we chilling because I ain't looking for us. And you know they're not. They're coming to get what we asked our president to do, and that was to engage in mass deportation, to get these illegals out of our country. We are coming for them seats. Do you understand that? And while you got these people up in here acting like they pro-police, if they really was about the police, against the police, whatever the case may be, they deal with that Laquan McDonald Act so that we can get y'all up out of that seat. Yeah, you wipe your face. Yeah? You wipe your face because you're probably out breaking out in a sweat. Let me tell you something. We coming for them seats. And at first, I said it to you. Then it spread it to city council. But now you're going to mess with the black people of America and American citizens by being a fraud and showing the Democratic Party by how lousy they really are. Black people in America, American citizens, y'all say it along with me. From the East Coast to the West Coast, from the North to the South. The Democratic Party, we're putting y'all on alert. All across of America. That's right.
And see, this is what I'm saying in regard. And look, this house had to do a little bit with Chicago Flips Red, as well as a lot of other independent organizations, because it's also been brought to my attention in regards to a lot of other political parties that are running here in Chicago, that it's starting to intensify now. More groups, more organizations are starting to step up and face off against the establishment here in Chicago. We are seeing community organizers break away from the Democrat Party. We're seeing a lot of people actually now more than ever make a real impact of change. And it's a rarity to see this now, because for a long time, the Democrat machine has had a lot of control. But since Mayor Brandon Johnson has been failing spectacularly, especially in the aftermath of the DNC convention here in Chicago, one can only wonder what lies in store and what coalitions and what new groups and people will be rising up in 2026 to get ready to launch in 2027. So what's the way to end this? Yes, Operation Midway Blitz looks like it's winding down, but ICE isn't not fully departing from Chicago. But it's not over yet. And for those politicians that were, I don't know, friendly and holding hands, eventually Chicago politics and the Chicago atmosphere does take over, and everyone has their knives out, daggers out, guns out, in order to maintain whatever little fiefdom they have in the city. In turn, I think it's perfect to end this segment on a comedic note. This is all AI. It's all hilarious, but I think it's pure gold in regards to what lies in store for Chicago.
Hi, I'm Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. Part of running a Democrat monopoly is lying. That means scaring you with the Republican boogeyman, even though we haven't elected any in over a century. So even though all the crime and poverty is us, we'll still scare the shit out of you. They're coming for your breadcrumbs. What, you gonna run or elect someone else? We're all you got. We're the lesser of two evils, remember? And that's why you fools will pay more to have less. Highest water taxes when you live on a lake? And it's
that joke really hurt me hard, okay? But yeah, we do have the highest water taxes.
To have less. Highest water taxes when you live on a lake? And it's why you'll accept the murders and carjackings or having to ask a clerk to unlock the toothpaste. So it really doesn't matter if you re-elect me or not, because chances are you'll keep picking worse.
Remember me?
Ah!
Or how about me?
Oh, this guy. Jeez. That's terrible. Anybody but those two.
Remember me?
Or how about me?
And don't forget me.
So go ahead, keep voting blue. Think it can't get any worse? Oh, it will.
Hello, New York.
Whoever did this, come forward, step up. Come forward. Who did this? Who did that? Okay? Who? Who did that? Who did that? Who did that? Philip Smith says, Thanos, fine. I'll do it myself. Whoever did this, come forward. Okay. And for those you don't know, why was Daley Jr. on an airport strip? Go ahead and use the Google machine and ask your Google about Chicago's third airport. That will surprise you. That's all I will say. So the future for Chicago is this: knives out. ICE isn't truly departing, but the operations are winding down. And Mayor Brandon Johnson will be in a fight now, because it's not over yet. And as regards for the UN coming here to Chicago, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen in a long shot. Not going to happen. Not going to happen because there's what do you expect the UN to do? Stop Chicago corruption? Yeah, good luck. They ain't going to do that. They're just going to probably want to get some good old Chicago style pizza, which is far more superior than New York style.